Hi, this is Jen Maleka, the Holistic Health Boss, your functional diagnostic nutrition health coach and practitioner expert. And I'm coming to you guys this week from deep in the jungle, as you can see here in Belize, as I'm kicking off my travel circuit this year with a business and pleasure retreat to Belize. I love traveling. It is my absolute favorite pastime. Last year alone, I took 15 different trips and went to 7 different countries. And travel just really helps me to get in touch with myself. It rejuvenates my body. It's how I can relax and disconnect from the day-to-day life. It helps me to cultivate creativity, connection with the earth, and also just to enjoy all of the things in this wonderful world. So there's so much to be said about the benefits of travel, but one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about are actually the downsides or the side effects of traveling. Oftentimes we will focus on some of the physical side effects, like after sitting for long hours in a car or a train or a plane, how our body is aching and sore, or the lack of physical activity. And actually the effects of travel go way beyond just the external aspects of our body, but they also hugely impact the internal aspects of our body. So I'm going to talk about some of those things this week with you guys and give you my 4 essential travel and health maintenance tips that have helped me become a superb traveler and maintain my health at the same time. But first, I want to talk a little bit more in detail about how travel actually negatively can impact the body. So amongst all of the beautiful things that happen when we travel and all the things that we get to see, the reality is that travel can really disrupt our natural internal rhythms. So some of the things that travel does is it can disrupt our sleep and wake cycles when we're traveling across different time zones specifically, or we have late nights. That can really affect that natural rhythm that our body has for sleep. Also, travel can contribute to acute or chronic inflammation. Also, dehydration, especially when flying. Dehydration is a really big one that people don't realize. I will actually start drinking more water a day or two before I leave for a trip, just to prevent dehydration from happening while flying. In addition to that, travel also gets us out of our healthy eating routine, which therefore impacts the availability of nutrients for our body. And travel can also suppress our immune system, which makes us more susceptible to getting things like colds, flus, and viruses, which is why a lot of people might return from a trip and then they find that they will get sick immediately afterwards. So we don't always notice that these things are happening to us. Jet lag is probably the most common experience that people have, where they can see the significant impact that travel has had on them. Jet lag is also called basically flight fatigue as well, and it's when travel, especially by plane across different time zones, is disrupting that natural circadian rhythm, which leads to things like sleep disorders and insomnia and chronic fatigue. Now, there's other things that can also contribute to jet lag, such as lack of hydration, good quality sleep, getting adequate nutrients from your food, and also from those late hours at nighttime and drinking alcohol and those types of things. So again, jet lag is just a very common and easy explanation or simple example to give you of how traveling can impact our body, but we don't always notice the bigger ways that it's impacting it. So I'm not saying to not travel, because obviously traveling is one of my favorite pastimes. What I'm saying is that let's just travel smarter. So I'm sharing with you guys today, like I mentioned earlier, my 4 essential travel and health maintenance tips. Because once you know how travel can affect your body, there's proactive things that you can do that are really simple to start supporting your body in the way that it needs most, so that travel doesn't have these negative effects on you, so that you can bounce back and keep or maintain the health that you have, or actually improve it over time. So my very first tip is to stock up on some oil of oregano. So oil of oregano is one of the most powerful herbs and protective herbs that you can actually get in a supplemental form. Oil of oregano has natural anti-parasitic, antibacterial, and antifungal properties. So as you're traveling, you can actually come across a lot of different organisms, whether that's parasites, bacteria, or yeast, or just different germs through your travels. And these things can really suppress our immune system or make us really sick. And oil of oregano is one of the things that can help fight that off. So I like to take oil of oregano a couple times a day while I'm traveling to fight off any of these organisms that I might be coming in contact during my travels. My favorite brand of oil of oregano is by Designs for Health, and I will usually take about 2 capsules 3 times a day. It's like adding an extra layer protectively for your immune system. So you guys can look at the links below or hop back to the email. I give you a link to my favorite oil of oregano brand, Designs for Health, so that you can stock up on that and take that on your next trip with you. Now, my second tip for you is actually another supplement called activated charcoal. So to stock up and pack your activated charcoal. Now, activated charcoal is one of the primary ingredients that you can also find in Pepto-Bismol. And that actually helps against or prevent when you start to feel like an upset stomach or bubbly guts, as I'll call it. But actually, activated charcoal has even more powerful and healing benefits than just healing an upset stomach. It also helps to bind and pull toxins out of the body through the means of stool. So whenever I question water quality, air quality, food quality, or if I tend to drink maybe alcohol while traveling, or if my stomach starts to feel upset, I will take activated charcoal as needed. Now, I recommend taking activated charcoal over Pepto-Bismol because Pepto-Bismol has other added fillers and things and an over-the-counter medication that can contribute to leaky gut and other health issues. So taking a really natural form of activated charcoal that's good and high quality can be really important. Also, you want to be careful when you take activated charcoal because taking too much of it can actually lead to constipation, but it can be hugely beneficial for you at the same time if you take it in the right amounts. So I suggest taking about 2 capsules of my favorite brand, Integrative Therapeutics Activated Charcoal, whenever you are concerned about the quality of your environment in terms of toxins, or if you start to feel your stomach feeling upset. Now, my third tip is about attending to your adrenals. So your adrenal glands are where you produce your hormone cortisol. Cortisol is commonly known as our stress hormone, but it actually does a lot of other things for us. Cortisol is what gives you energy in the morning to get through your day. It's actually your anti-natural inflammatory as well. Now, cortisol should be at its highest peak in the morning time just after sunrise, and then it slowly tapers off throughout the day into the evening time so that melatonin, your sleep hormone, can be released, and this cycle continues on every single day. Now, one of the driving factors for cortisol to have this natural rhythm is your exposure to the sun cycles. So when you're exposed to sun in the morning and as the sun then sets then in the afternoon, this keeps your rhythm in place. However, when you're traveling across different time zones, or when you're traveling and maybe having some late nights, staying out later than expected, or what your usual routine is, this can really impact your natural cortisol rhythm. This can lead to fatigue, sleep disturbances, chronic inflammation, and it can also have a huge impact on your other hormones such as thyroid, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. So I recommend if you travel frequently like I do, you should definitely be checking your cortisol at least 1 to 2 times a year to make sure that you're maintaining that natural cortisol rhythm and supporting your adrenals if needed, if that rhythm gets out of balance. Even if you travel less frequently, checking in on your cortisol can help you prevent things like jet lag or other side effects or other health issues as well. And my last tip is for you to also check in on your gut health. When you travel, you are coming across, like I mentioned before, so many different organisms that your body is not used to. Different parasites, bacteria, and yeast in the foods and the air that you're eating, or excuse me, the water that you're drinking while you're traveling, as well as the various different surfaces that you might be touching. And when you contract some of these parasites, bacteria, and yeast while traveling, your immune system is already suppressed, maybe from the travel itself, from stress, from traveling, or the foods that you're eating. So your body may not be able to fend off these different types of organisms, parasites, and things like that as it normally would at home. And if left untreated, these organisms can lead to some very serious health issues. They contribute to leaky gut, IBS, acid reflux, ulcers, as well as they can trigger autoimmunity and way more serious health conditions. So it's very important, especially if you travel internationally, to be checking your gut health. I would again recommend doing this 1 to 2 times a year, depending on how frequently you travel and where it is that you travel to, so that you can keep your gut in tip-top shape, because your gut is where your immune system is housed. It's also where you produce your mood balancing hormones such as serotonin and dopamine, and where you absorb nutrients. So if you contract these organisms, you don't know about it, they get in there and fester for a long time, they can really disrupt the internal balance of your body. So I hope you guys found these tips helpful, and think of them the next time you plan your trip. You will be very grateful and thankful that you did. If you stock up on that oil of oregano, pack your activated charcoal, and check in on your adrenal and your gut health on a regular basis. Again, the links to check all of these things out are in below this video, or you can go back to the email where you found the video to learn more about these resources that I provided with you guys with today. All right, you guys, have a great week, and I'll see you next